Hey everyone, so in this video I want to take a quick look at Color Studio 2 by Kronnect. I've mentioned in the past I'm a big advocate of anything that makes Unity more of an all-in-one solution, particularly for new developers and indie developers. Every time you have to close out Unity and go to an external third-party application, then that's another application you have to learn, and that's another set of project files you have to manage. So if you can build the functionality right into Unity, I'm a big advocate of that. So in this case, Color Studio adds a paint program to Unity. I would quickly rate it as say MS Paint plus 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 with one exception. But other than that one exception, it's kind of a souped up MS Paint. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it. So as typical, if you go to Window and then you go to Package Manager, it will be available in the My Assets section once you've downloaded it from the store. You get a folder called Color Studio, and whereas some of these asset packages give you a library of images or resources, this is purely a functionality package, okay? So it's not like you're downloading 100 images or something like that. You're getting the functionality of a paint program. There's a README. You can certainly go through that, but the instructions here I'm about to go through right now, there's some contact information, and then there is basically just the version updates. Okay, so what do you get? You get Window, you go to Color Studio, and here are the two things that you get. So Palette Manager, I'm just going to mention this very briefly. I'm not an artist, so I really don't know much about color theory, but that's the whole idea of this, is that you can create, by using the controls, you can choose what the color range is that you're going to use. And there are different choices up here. An actual artist probably could, spend hours talking about this. Just if you are an artist, then the naming will mean something to you. And, I don't want to pretend to know something that I do not. So I'm just very briefly showing you that this functionality is here, that you can indeed choose and make a custom palette. So that's one of the two things that you get. The other, which I will review more in-depthly, is Pixel Painter. So I'm just going to do a quick overview of what the menus are, and then we'll actually get into using some of this. So up here, it says New. This is the size of the object. So you're basically looking at individual pixels. Don't mind that square that you see. I'll mention that in a minute. So you have a 4x4, 8, 16, 32, 64. So this is the one way that MS Paint is superior, because you can make a much larger image with MS Paint, okay? But again, like I said, this is really kind of placeholder graphics. It's really not meant to be your final image. Although, if you're doing like a low resolution game, then 64 by 64 might be sufficient. Okay, so that is the size of the palette. Texture, when you are done drawing, you can save it and make a texture out of it, or you can make a sprite. Honestly, the fact that they give you two, while it's convenient, there's not a lot of difference. You can always turn, whenever you have an image, you can turn it to basically anything that you want. You can change it from a UI to a texture to a sprite image. It's just changing a drop-down box. So it's nice that they give you both, but functionally, there's really no big difference. It's just changing a drop-down box. If you want to change the image from a texture to a sprite or vice versa, it's just a drop-down box in the asset area. But still, it's nice that they give you both. Undo, redo, brush color. So you just click on this, and then you get the color palette that you were looking at earlier. And then you can just select what color you want. As you can see, there are not many here. It's only 4x4. So you can change the hues, you can change the shades, saturation. Like I said, I am not an artist. I'm not going to pretend to be. So you can work with this to get the colors that you want. So we'll just grab a color. Okay, so brush color, brush width. So 1 would be a single block, 2 would be 2x2, so on and so forth. Okay. Brush shape. So you have a square, a circle. In the lower sizes, the circle definitely does not look like a circle. You have to probably get like 5x5 before it starts looking like an actual circle. And then you've got a couple others as well. Okay. and then you just start drawing. So over here, we'll start with the pen, and it does exactly what you would think. Now, what you're getting over here, as it says, is a seamless preview. Why do you get this? Because say you're trying to make a texture. You want to make this into a material and you want it to tile. So say you're trying to make grass, okay? Well, you don't want to see overt horizontal and vertical patterns. You want to be able to see a preview ahead of time to know how well it tiles. So I'm not going to try to do that here, but that's what the preview does. So if you say you're like making a brick wall, you'll see if it actually looks like bricks or if it is or if it's obvious that it's a repeated pattern. So that's why you get this seamless preview if you're going to use it for a texture to make a material that repeats, that tiles. Have eraser. And again, each one of these uses the shape. So I could actually use the shape of the circle. So let's see if I can not mess this up. Let's go to pen, fill this in a bit. And now we'll go to brush with a 5. We go to eraser. We go to the circle. And there you go. So you erased that. So it's a combination of the brush plus the shape, which is pretty typical for paint programs. And then you have replace, which lets you replace all instances of a color with another color. So say you're trying to come up with a palette swap. So yeah, if you're trying to come up with a palette swap, then you basically would be able to one at a time choose the colors what you want to swap them out with. If you want, just to show you that this is working, we'll put a couple more here that are not connected, just to keep me honest. And so if we click on replace, we click on color, no matter what tool I'm using, it should replace them all. And it did. So it's not like as if you're using what we're about to get to, the flood fill, you're just selecting the color. It doesn't matter which one you click on, so much as that if you click on that, so it matters as far as what color you want to change. It just doesn't have to be connected is what I'm trying to say. So yes, it matters which one you click on because you're trying to select a certain color. It just doesn't matter as far as if you're clicking on one that's connected to another. It's automatically looking for any instance of that color and replacing it. Flood fill, it's exactly as the tin says. We'll choose a color and it fills it. So it's the paint can. Darken, lighting, dry, vivid, noise. So like if you do noise, it's hard to see, but that one got darker, that one got lighter, that one got darker. That one's a little bit more obvious. That one's darker, got a couple shades in there. And you can just play around with those. There's a gradient. This one's a little bit odd because this seems to be based on distance, not on duration. So if I do this, see how it got darker? Well, if I hold, it's not getting darker. So it's not based on time, and obviously it's not based on pressure because I'm using a mouse. So this is based on how many blocks you've drawn, and you can see that it's consistently making it the same. So you've got a gradient tool there. You also have, let's just click on 16, so close that out. You can do mirrors, so horizontal. So say you're using this tool and it's a 4. You can see it's going to draw it horizontally. You can do vertical. Drew it vertically. And quad, so all 4 corners. So there's an example of making an X. I wasn't even trying to do that, but if you're trying to make them converge, then the mirror, particularly for the quad, would let you do that. A few more tools. Let's see. We can clear the canvas, fill, fit palette. These are basically additional full image tools. So this one is a flip. Doesn't really look like much because I used a lot of symmetric tools, but the top became the bottom and the bottom became the top. So not the same as a rotate. This is a flip because if I was to rotate, this over here would be over there. So this is a flip vertical. This is a flip horizontal. This nudges it over 1, and I'm not quite sure why you'd want this because as you can see, it's not like it's scrolling it over. It scrolls it over. Let's get rid of that. it's scrolling it to the left by clicking to the left, but it's not like as if the left is coming over to the side here. So I'm not quite sure why you'd want that. So unless there's something that I don't understand, I'm not quite sure why you'd want to do that, why you'd want to move it over. I could understand if you want the whole thing to scroll over, but maybe if you want something to delete. So basically you're deleting one line at a time if that's what you want. And then as I showed, that one does that. This one does the same thing, pushes it up. This one pushes it down. And then these are the actual rotate. So like I said, be mindful of the difference between flipping and rotating. You can shut the grid off if you want. And that's about it. So I don't think there's really anything else to show you. Like I said, you can actually save this. So if I click on the texture or the sprite, you can save it. It automatically navigates you to the texture folder within Color Studio. Let's close this. And then, like I was saying, it really doesn't matter. It's nice little convenience, but it's not like you're forced into keeping it as that type of texture. So if you choose texture, then you've got this default. If you were to choose the image instead, it would just be that, and you click on apply. So again, yes, it's nice that it gives you the ability to save it as either or, but in reality, it's very easy to convert it. That's what I was saying with a single drop down box. So I think that's about it. I hope that you found this helpful. I am thinking that maybe I should do a consolidated video with several of these that again demonstrates how to make Unity more all-in-one. That okay, you want to install Pro Builder, you want to install Color Studio 2, you want to install whatever else. So unlike Pro Builder, which is free and is built in, you just have to install it from the Unity registry. Color Studio 2 costs $25 USD as at least as of this writing of this recording. So it's $25 USD, and I picked it up like a month ago. I think I again picked it up as part of a package. So I think that should about do it, and I hope you found this useful, and please enjoy the rest of your day.